Arts and Communication, also called UNIMAC. And the IL stands for Institute of Languages. And I'm excited to be in this meeting today, especially to have the privilege of sharing knowledge with you and also learning from you. And I believe we are going to have a very wonderful time. This afternoon, we want to have a discussion. It's like a family meeting because the issues we are going to discuss concern all of us. And the title is English Language Teachers as Researchers, Drivers, Barriers, and Areas. Please, next slide. All right, so our main objective for this discussion is to awaken the interest of English language teachers in conducting research. That's the main thing. So by the end of this session, I believe that if your research interest is sleeping or dead, there will be an awakening. And the outline is as we see. We're going to define research. We talk about what ELT research entails and look at the drivers of research, the barriers, as well as some areas of research in ELT. Next slide, please. All right, now research. What is research? So please put your comments in the chat box. Whatever you know or remember about research, please put it in the chat box for us. What is meant by research? So, Mr. Akins, can you please read any comments that we get in the chat box for us?
Okay.
Okay, an inquiry? That's great. Can we have more, please? What is research? Studying a topic to discover, okay. All right, systematic inquiry about a problem. Any process of collecting, organizing, analyzing, and use data for decision making. That's great. Looking for information. Great. Okay. All right. Knowing the past today and to predict the future. Can we have more, please? Last one. All right. To look for information about a certain topic or an issue to discuss. Thank you all very much. These are very wonderful contributions. Yes, research is a process of finding solutions to problems. Okay, let me clap for you. Well done. I like what I'm seeing. All right, great. Can we please proceed? Yeah, planning, organizing, assess. Okay, that's fine. Great. So this is what I have. It's a careful study of a subject, especially in order to discover new facts or information about it. So whatever subject you are concentrating on, your aim is to discover new facts or information about it. And it's in line with the information we shared in the chat box. Trying to get information, trying to learn new things, having a subject matter. That's wonderful. And there's also the systematic aspect of it. Thank you. Please, let's move on. Good. Now, there's another question, and I would be very grateful if you could share your views. What does ELT research entail? What does it entail? English language teaching. So please, let's share our views once again in the chat box. What does ELT research entail? Your comments, please. Okay, great. How English is taught, yes, and learned. That's fine. A few more, please. What does ELT research entail? All right, we can move. Okay, I've seen some. All right, pedagogical process and how their implications inform reforms. That's great. Abstract research, problems, limitations, importance of the topic. Okay, it entails. All right, wow, they are flowing. Director, I'll leave it to you. It's so fast on my screen, so I'll leave it to you to read them out for me, please.
It deals with identifying problems in teaching English and how to solve them. That's what we have here.
Great.
Best practices in the teaching and learning of English.
Wonderful.
It includes methods, practices, learners' needs, teachers' roles, etc.
Great.
And then this from Agatha, it encompasses a broad range of inquiries into the processes and outcomes of teaching and learning English as a second or foreign language.
Very good.
From Mr. Coney, ELT research also entails how L1 users learn and acquire L2, that's English language.
Very good.
Let me take probably the last one from Ken.
Okay.
I think that, among other things, it seeks to provide more insights on the good teaching methods of teaching and learning the English language.
That's wonderful. Thank you all very much for your contributions. I think there's one more. Please add
Yes.
that one. Yeah.
Making inquiries into areas in English language teaching and learning and finding solutions to them.
Great.
Then challenges in the teaching and learning and to explore effective approaches.
Very good. Okay, let's move on, please. Thank you all very much. All right, so this is what I have. It entails systematic investigations into all aspects of teaching, learning, and use of English as a second or foreign language. So we realize that this one captures the contributions that we just shared, and that's very wonderful. Please, let's move on. Now, my last question for this page is that who qualifies, okay, to conduct ELT research? Who qualifies to conduct ELT research? Please share your views in the chat box again. Yeah, everyone. Wow. Okay. English teachers. All right. So, Sir Eben, as they come in, please read them out to us.
We have English teachers, we have teachers of English language and any other researcher. Linguistics, linguists here.
Any more, please? Yes, okay. Interesting.
English, yes. Teachers, trainers, graduates, anyone who has identified a problem in the subject area. Teachers, trainers, graduates, researchers, curriculum developers. ELT teachers, ELT experts, and curriculum designers.
Interesting. Okay. There's one more.
English teachers trained for that purpose.
All right, that's great. Thank you all once again. Okay, I think there's another one in a more. All right, that's great. Please read them out. We are interested in all the views.
Yes, those researchers who have the interest and are passionate. And then the last one here is English and language teachers.
Okay, good. So let's move, please. So the answer here is every English language teacher. Okay, in the context of ELT, every English language teacher. Apart from that, any other person who is interested in the field. So once again, my answer is in line with the views you have shared. It means we are on the same page. We are speaking one language. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this. Please, let's move on. Okay, so now we want to talk about drivers or driving forces, okay, in terms of research. So we want all this we are talking about here, when we mention drivers or driving forces, we're mentioning them to indicate things that encourage research. Okay, please, let's move. So, things that encourage research. So, factors that awaken or sustain a person's desire to conduct research. Factors that awaken. The word awaken here is very important. So, the desire will be awakened or sustained. So, by implication, it means that your research interest can sleep or die or be dormant. So, once there is an awakening, it means action must be taken. Okay, please, let's go. Fine. So, I have a little task for you. State one word that can replace drivers or driving forces in this context. In what we just read, we have the word drivers or driving forces. Can you please give just one word? Hey, you are really fast. Dr. Doris. Wonderful. Can we have more, please? One word, yes, to replace drivers or driving forces. Interest, motivation. Okay. Please keep them coming. Like Oliver Twist, we want more. Okay, director, can you please read them for us?
Motivators, interest, passion, triggers, enabler, rationale.
Okay. So which word is winning? I also
Yes.
saw stimuli, triggers. Okay.
And desire.
Desire, yes. Passion.
Passion.
Interesting. Incentives, yes. Wow. Hey, someone has given us three. Is it Mr. Kambu? Problems. Okay.
Okay, we have conviction and problems here. Situations.
Situations. Okay.
I think this one is niche.
Catalyst. Interesting. Wow. All right. Thank you all very much. So let's see. Let's review the answer we have on the screen. Yay. Motivation. Okay. So it's just a synonym. Okay. It's a synonym of many of the words that you provided. And once again, I'm very, very grateful. Motivation. So what we are focusing on is motivation. What will motivate us to conduct research? Please, let's go. All right, so now we have some suggestions here. Key drivers or motivations or motivators or any of the words you brought in which can fit in of research. And I have three. And the list is not exhaustive, but these are the key ones I have for now. The quest to find solutions to problems. The desire to find answers to questions, and this points to intellectual curiosity. And then the last one is knowing the essence or the value or the benefits of conducting research. So if we have these as our focus, I believe that our interest can be awakened to conduct research. Yeah, gaps in knowledge, professional development. Okay, some more contributions are coming in, and I'm still grateful. Please let's move to the next slide. All right, so the last point we mentioned was knowing the benefits of conducting research. Therefore, I want to look at some benefits of engaging in ELT research. One, exposure to a wider world of knowledge and understanding. If you do research, you get to know many things. Sometimes we are curious about certain things, but we are not really sure what they are or what they even mean. But when you do research, you are exposed to a rich world of knowledge, and you begin to understand certain things better. In our teaching practice, in our classroom experiences, almost every day we encounter situations, and all of them point to research interest, but we may not be paying attention to them. Okay, so if we engage in research, we get to understand certain things, why students behave the way they do. So it's very important for teachers to engage in research. The next one is enriched professional experience and practice. When you read wide, when you research, you get to learn a lot, and that one enhances our professional experience and the practice of what we do in class and even outside. Then it improves learning outcomes. If we read wide, if we research, it facilitates teaching and learning, and that also has a good effect on students' achievement. Opportunities for participation in projects. My dear friend, I would want you to know or remember that there are so many projects going on in this world because people are interested in knowing what is going on around us. And for you to be part of these projects, you will have to find out, you have to know what is happening. And what will help you to do that is for you to research. As you read, as you discuss, you come across many projects in the field of ELT that you may not have thought of. Let me give you an example. During my master's degree at Esther University in the UK, I presented a topic, and interestingly, there were people who were interested in that topic I didn't even know. So later I had an invitation to have a meeting with some great people in the field of ELT. Then they told me that they were organizing a project, and what I was presenting was exactly in line with that, and they would need some contributions from Ghana. So at the end of my project or my course, the MA course, I should get in touch so that we see how we can move on. And thankfully, ultimately, my work got published in a textbook. I didn't pay a penny. It's all because they heard what I presented, and I was able to present because I read about it. So research opens opportunities for us to participate in projects which will ultimately bring us a lot of benefits. Then we can also be exposed to various forms of support from sponsors such as the British Council. This is because they sponsor a lot of projects. Sometimes it's individuals who organize the project. Sometimes too, you find groups of people. So if you research, you come across all these opportunities, and you will be shocked. I've been reading a lot. When you go onto LinkedIn and other platforms, so many projects, so many opportunities. You see grants. It's all about people being interested in what is going on. So, dear friends, let's get on board. Let's research, let's open up so that these projects, these sponsorships, these opportunities will fall on our lap. Then opportunities for promotion. At our various workplaces, we have opportunities for promotion, and sometimes it doesn't come easily. It doesn't just come to fall on your table. You will have to work hard. And someone said that when opportunity found me, I was ready. And how can we be ready? We can be ready if we read wide, if we research to know what is going on around us, and also to improve our practices as ELT practitioners. Then, networking. In your research, you come across people who are interested in the same subject or similar subject, and it will open up opportunities for networking, not only in our various countries, but outside. And then we become global assets because of the things we are working on and because of the knowledge that we have. And when we engage in research, we contribute to knowledge in the field of ELT. As academics, we are told that if you don't publish, you perish. Or in other words, you publish or perish. So for us to publish, it means we have to contribute to the field in which we are, which is English language teaching. And you can't publish without conducting any research. So it means it's very, very important for us to contribute to knowledge in ELT so that our relevance will be felt in the field. Then, one good news is that our research can also lead to positive policy reviews. Sometimes, in certain countries, in certain contexts, the government authorities may not be aware of how policies are negatively affecting our teaching practice. But if we, the people who have direct contact with the students, organize research and then publish our findings, we take the findings to the doorstep of the people in charge. I believe that when we push hard, policies can be reviewed in our favor. And all these points can be found in the works of these wonderful scholars. Can we move, please? Next slide, please. Yes, okay. So now I want to concentrate on the barriers of research among English language teachers. We have already seen the motivators, that's the drivers. Now the barriers. So coming back to you, can you please share some of the things that discourage us from conducting research? We are in the field and we know ourselves. When we reflect on our practices, sometimes certain things discourage us or demotivate us from conducting research. Please share your views in the chat box. What discourages you from conducting research? Okay. Wow. Okay, so Director, over to you once again.
So we have access to resources, lack of resources, funding, time and financial constraints, lack or inadequate knowledge in conducting research funds, time, supervisors, frustration, funding and access to resources, cultural differences, lack of research funds, time constraints, sometimes not sure how to go about it.
Good. Okay, do we have more?
Language barriers,
Okay.
funds. It looks like funds. The difficulty in finding the right information, lack of adequate knowledge, lack of time and technology tools, security issues,
Oh,
yes, time constraints,
okay.
lack of adequate previous research in the area.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. Okay. All right, so please let's move on. Thank you all once again. I like your contributions. You see, we are in the field, so these are practical issues. Lack of IT knowledge. Okay. All right, so please continue. Great. So these are some of the things we have. Misconceptions about who qualifies to be a researcher. Sometimes we feel research has been reserved for some special people, for some experts. But as teachers, we are automatically researchers. Or let me put it this way, every good teacher is an automatic researcher. I'm saying this because for you to be able to know the subject very well and deliver effectively, you have to read. You read wide, get examples, appropriate examples, and that makes you a researcher. You reading to get information, looking at the definition we had at the beginning, makes you a researcher. So don't think you are not qualified. You don't need any special skills. Skills are important, but we have to get started at a point in time. So don't wait until you know everything about research, which is impossible, before you start. Then, lack of motivation to start or proceed with research. As we have seen, motivation is a key factor. Underestimation of the importance of research. Some people think, oh, even if you research, what will they do with the results? So we only think about what the government or authorities are going to do about the results. But as an individual, you benefit from it. People around you benefit. So even if authorities do not use your findings, there are still different ways that you can see the importance or the essence of research. Then one key thing is challenges with ideas on researchable areas. When we're contributing, someone wrote that you don't even know what to write about, you don't know where to start from. And that is very true. I've had a chat with different people, and many concerns border on the ideas, what to think about, what to research. Another thing is worries about where to get information. The person can think about a topic or a subject area and will wonder, how will I even get information? Where will I get it from? Then, lack of the skills, the research skills. Let's not be scared. Lack of resources, we saw that it was just flowing through. Lack of time. And one thing I also saw in the contributions is frustrations from supervisors. It's very true. It can easily discourage you. But today we want to encourage ourselves that we shouldn't get demotivated. Let's try and consciously motivate ourselves to move. Please, next slide. Good. So overcoming barriers. We have seen the barriers. Now, how can we overcome them? As I have mentioned, we have to motivate ourselves. So self-motivation is very important. We shouldn't wait for people to come and push us. It's good if you get someone, but if you don't, please move on. Then believe in yourself as a qualified researcher. Self-confidence is very, very important. And then remember the benefits of teacher research, as we mentioned in the 5th slide, okay? Or we can also call it action research. We are in the classroom, and research from us goes a long way to improve teaching and learning practices. Then we have to get started with an idea. So that's the stage of conception. That's when we conceive the research idea. And how can this happen? We have to pay attention to issues in our classrooms and in our schools. Let's not think about things that are too far from us. In the classroom, many things happen. The learning process, even relationships, student-teacher relationships, teacher-teacher, student-teacher, student-student, all forms of relationships. Those can even give us topics or ideas to research on. Then read about the idea you conceive or a given research task. If you conceive an idea, it's not enough to push you to move on. You will have to read about it. And as you read, you discover so many things. Some of them we already know. Others too, we have forgotten. Others too, they have never occurred to us, although they are so close. And where can we get some of the information or some of the sources of information? There are so many of them that I just want to mention two. Google Scholar, which we know very well, and then SciSpace. With a SciSpace, you only have to type in the idea you have, a tentative topic, and it will give you suggestions on articles that have dealt with such topics. And when you read, you will be overwhelmed. So many things will come up. Let me share this experience. When I had to choose a topic for my PhD thesis, I was so confused. So many things came into my mind. I didn't know what to do. So I decided to read wide. As I was reading, I came across something, which is about the teaching methods we use for adults, andragogy. Hey, so I conducted a review and I realized that it is not so common. Let me use Ghana. I searched for issues in Ghana. It's not common in Ghana. Just a few people have touched on it. Andragogy as a learning and teaching method and theory for adult education. So I started reading and I realized that this theory has been there since 1833. Hey, so how come I'm now getting to hear about it after more than 20 years of practice in the classroom? Wow. So it gave me more energy to read wide, and I have really enjoyed reading about the topic. So we can also do that when we conceive ideas or when we are giving research tasks. Let's just read people's works. We are not the first people to write. People have written for so many years. So when we read, we get a lot of information that will motivate us to move on with our research. Then collaboration and mentorship. There is a saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Please, what do we understand or what is meant by this statement? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Let's share ideas in the chat box, please. What does it mean? How do you understand it? Okay. So, Director?
Dr. Doris, work is faster than individual one.
Okay, nice one. All right.
Underscores the importance of collaboration.
Okay.
We also have teamwork, collaborative research. Two heads are better than one.
Interesting.
Group work.
Okay. Great. All right. Yeah, I'm seeing more. These are very interesting points.
Make light work. B technique.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes impact more. Put interest of others first. You need others to make it in life. In other words, we rise by lifting others.
Okay.
Individual achievements may be short-lived, but group work lasts longer.
Wow. Wow. Great insights. Oh,
Working together
I'm
is
really
very
moved.
important. Teamwork and collaboration, yes. So this from Agatha, teamwork and collaborate with like minds.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. These are very interesting points. Okay. So, it doesn't mean that working individually is bad. Okay. If you want to go fast, so it's good to go fast, as we know. But you can go fast and fall down. If you fall down and you are alone, who will lift you up? So much as it's good to work as an individual, it's also advisable to work in a team, collaborate with others. In this case, we complement one another. Where your strength ends, another person can help you. Where you have a weakness, someone is there to support. And somehow, someone will also be weak in a certain area, and you will be the one to strengthen the person. So let us try as much as possible and do collaborations. And then mentorship. Mentorship. It's good to learn from those who have gone ahead. So let's try as much as possible in our own small way to collaborate. You see, on this platform, we have a lot of people from different countries, different contexts. It will be so beautiful for us to find ways of collaborating, coming up with research topics, projects, and many other things. So please, let's think about it so that in future, we will come up with very interesting results. And also, we have to participate in professional development programs, like what we are doing. Participating in webinars, conferences, and all that. You will hear things from people. You will hear a lot of insights. And that one can also motivate you to go back to the drawing board. Either you start or you continue with what you have been doing. Okay, let's go, please. Next slide. All right. So now, we mentioned that people are not sure. Sometimes people don't know where to start from or what to write about. Therefore, can you tell us some of the areas that we can research on or investigate as ELT practitioners? Let's share ideas in the chat box, please. Which areas can we look into as ELT practitioners? And I believe we have our pens and papers to put down something. Wow, code switch, okay. So director, over to you, Jolati.
So we have code switching, grammar, pedagogy. Essay writing, language acquisition, parent and setter in teaching, listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills, interlanguage, all the areas of linguistics of the English language, creative writing, dyslexia, varieties of English, reading comprehension, reading books, participating in webinars. Yeah, we still have creative writing, hybrid e-learning, emotional intelligence, digital writing, differentiated learning, cultural awareness, stylistics, reading skills of students, teaching methods and approaches, student skills development, proficiency level, and their English achievements.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow. Wonderful.
Language
You are really
technology.
rich. Okay, do we have more?
Yes, methods and materials, curriculum design, chat GPT in a classroom, computer-assisted language learning, translanguaging, digital resources, phonotactics, pedagogy used in teaching, assessment and evaluation.
Wow. Hey, interesting. Okay, please, are we done?
Yes, that's all for now.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you. I'm really, really glad. I'm really overwhelmed. The responses are great. They are wonderful. They're so rich. Okay, so let's move, please. Proofreading marks. Wow. Okay. All right. So I also have to share with you, and you have mentioned many of them. So we can look at English language as L1, L2, and at the same time, a foreign language. So English language as a first language, as a second language, and then as a foreign language. So we can juxtapose the three to see where they converge and where they diverge. It's a very good area that we can look into. We can also look at the influence of the first language, okay, on classroom English language learning. You know, language acquisition has to do with the first language usually. And now we have language learning, which is seen as an intentional act. And that can be either English as a second language or English as a foreign language. Then, effects of first language illiteracy on English language learning. I have encountered a lot of situations that have made me think about this aspect of research. L1 illiteracy. If someone is not literate in his or her first language, it poses a big challenge when the person comes to learn a second language. For example, I teach adults, and sometimes we have students who have never gone to school. Others too went to school up to a point and dropped out, and they come for English lessons for various purposes. You will be surprised to know that some people are not literate in their first language. If you put B and A together, which is ba, the person will not be able to mention it. You will be shocked. You teach maybe IT 8. The next minute, the person has forgotten that you said IT is 8. The person can pronounce something which is so different from the 8. And after reading about it, I realized that it goes down to L1 illiteracy. So it's an area which we can also investigate. Let's move, please. All right. Learning English as a second language or as a foreign language. So here we can look at the language skills, as we know: reading and listening, speaking, and then writing. And there's an interesting thing: reading to learn while learning to read. Reading to learn is when you are supposed to read notes or any material so that you learn from it. So with the situation of students who are now coming to learn how to read, how can such a person read notes to get the knowledge you want the person to have? Think about it. Then there's another thing, which is the bridge between language input and intake in L2 learning. My dear friend, when we expose the students to language contents, it's not automatic that they will grab it, understand it, and use it. There is a bridge between the input and then the intake. So what is input? The input is the content that we release to the learners or what we expose them to. Then the intake is what they understand, what they process, and what they retain. So the question is, that very bridge, what can we find on the bridge? And this bridge has to do with factors that influence a learning process. So can you please share with us some of these factors that can influence a learning process, especially in English language? Please share your views. The distance between your delivery and the person's intake. What are some of the factors that lie in between?
Learning environment, learner background, lack of motivation from the part of the students, lack of interest, cultural background. L1 interference, learning environment, the learner background, cultural background, values, beliefs, religion and language exposure, lack of motivation from the part of the students, lack of interest, cultural background, cognitive processing, L1 interferences, using the L1 as a basis, inadequate resources, learning style,
Wow,
cultural
wow.
diversity, lack of previous knowledge, mother language interference, interlanguage fear of the subject,
Yeah.
context, laziness, the environment, lack of interest, literacy in L1, quest for knowledge in an area, learner's proficiency in the language of teaching, social status, age, sociocultural factors, and the teacher.
Okay. Please, are we done? Okay.
Metacognitive awareness, age, and background.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We are really information rich from the contributions we are seeing. we are really, really information rich. So please, let's tap from one another as we are sharing the ideas. If someone has shared something you are interested in, you can write it down and later team up with the person. All right, so please, let's move on. Okay, so these are a few things, and as usual, many of them have been shared. So I've just divided them into 3 main points. Cognitive factors, and that one can lead us into neuro-linguistics. It has to do with the learner's intelligence and learning style, as well as the memory. When you read wide, you come across issues which point to the fact that language learning is not just about texts and pictures and grammar and vocabulary. Science is also part of it. The person's brain. We learned that is the left side, as some people indicated. If a young person is learning a language, its things come into play, individuals and their issues. Then we come to affective factors. Our senior, or let me even say our grandfather, Stephen Krashen, has written a lot about L2 learning issues. And the affective, he calls some affective filters. Some concentrate on motivation, fear, anxiety, self-confidence, and all that. So it goes beyond what we do in the classroom. What is happening in the person's life, societal issues, can also influence or can also be found on the bridge between the language that we expose the students to and what they are able to grab. Then environmental factors, as some people indicated. The nature of the input, Krashen talks about that one as well. How rich is the input? The quality, the quantity, and then the suitability of what you are teaching the people. Is it the right level? Is it enough? All those things come into play. Teaching methods, pedagogy and andragogy. I mentioned andragogy. I'm so interested in andragogy because it's a very wonderful field. And then teaching and learning resources. We have mentioned them. And I'm so glad that we are all on one page. Can we move, please? Another field we can look into is assessment and achievement. Yeah, I saw someone wrote assessment, and that is very, very good. So we can look at effective assessment of English language learners. That can be formative or summative. Then exploring opportunities and challenges of English as a medium of instruction. This, I'm using Ghana, please, because that's what I've done at the moment. I've done some work on Ghana. So we can also adapt it into our various contexts. So in your country, the policies over there, I don't know if yours is as ours. Ours, we have English as our medium of instruction. So let's look at opportunities and challenges that we come across when we have such policies working for us in our pre-tertiary context. The influence of learners' English comprehension on their performance in other subjects. In Ghana here, English is used as a medium of instruction. So mathematics and other subjects, with the exception of the local languages, are taught in English. So if the person does not understand the content of mathematics or science because of the English language proficiency level, what will happen? We can also look into that. Issues of alignment. We have the syllabus, course outline, examination questions, marking schemes. Are they aligned? Or each one is going in its own direction? Sometimes when you investigate, you realize that the questions that come up are not really in line with the curriculum that the students have been given. So we can probe into that and see what we come up with. And one thing I recently discovered was about comments from examiners' reports. This one I'm using the Ghanaian context. We have B, C, and then WASSCE exams. When you read examiners' reports, you will see learners' performance, and most of them, from what I saw, was linked to their level of English proficiency. So we can also look into that. Okay? All right, let's move. All right, this is the final one. An area we can also look at is interdisciplinary research. English language is a global language. So if we blend it with other areas, it becomes so rich in terms of research. So we can look into teacher education. So many issues are there. We can look into that. Media and communication, social media is all over. So we can take advantage and look at the use of English language there. I saw a post on Facebook recently, so I decided to read into the use of emojis. I heard a story that someone was taken to court because of an interpretation of emoji. There was a contract between two people. So one person was expecting the other one to supply some goods, and it was very, very urgent. When the person sent the message, the recipient sent an emoji using the thumb. And this one can be interpreted in different ways. So when the thumb was there, the person said he was just acknowledging receipt of the message. And then the one who sent the message said he thought the person had agreed to supply all the things as stated. So the time came, he waited for the supply, it didn't come. And that was a big blow. So he sent the issue to court. So it was all about interpretation of emojis. We can look into that. Translation and interpretation. Legal and medical text. I do translation and interpretation, so I know what goes in there. Hey, sometimes you interpret something or translate and you realize that it's so sensitive that if your language is not good or if you give the wrong interpretation or translation, you can cause problems. Imagine a medical text, if it's a medicine or some direction or diagnosis, and you use English language in the wrong way, you can imagine the result. So we can also look at that. Law and politics, we can analyze campaign speeches, manifestos, and other things. Arts and craft, business and economics, cybersecurity, science and technology, with the AI, as we know, heading the block. And then sustainable development, which happens to be all over. It's now a global assignment. So we can look at, yes, someone has written language and media. So there is a lot. We can't say English is just English about grammar and reading. We can explore. Let's open up our tentacles and explore. Let's move on, please. All right. Oh, wow. So I'm glad we've gone through all this, and this is something I want to leave with you. Research is a vital tool for empowerment and development. Let's not see it as a burden. We have to be intentional about knowing what is happening in English language teaching and learning. When you are intentional about it, it will grow your interest. Motivate yourself to get started and keep going. Believe in yourself as a qualified researcher. Very, very important. Collaboration is an essential research asset. Keep learning and keep sharing knowledge as we are doing right now. Thank you very much. You have been very wonderful. Thanks so much for your contributions. Thank you. Thank you. So now we open the floor for questions. Thank you. So few references here.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Esther. And dear participants, if you have any questions, kindly type it in the chat box and Mrs. Esther will listen to it for you. Thank you. Okay, we don't have any question yet, but we have congratulations messages from Serafina. It was a great presentation. Thanks Thank you a lot. Thank you very much. That was very informative. I've learned a lot about research today. That's from Nanaya. Wonderful presentation from Miss Ileana. Informative presentation. Thanks for the insights. Thank you, for sharing so much knowledge. Thanks, Amelia. Yes, thank you so much. If you have any question, kindly type it in the chat box and Esther will answer them. For Miss Juliana, I like the way you used to do research while presenting, asking others to know how much they know about a certain topic is a step of research.
Thank
Miss
you.
Juliana is the Research Development Coordinator of IALTA, and she's in Panama. For coming, Miss Juliana. Okay, we have one question here. How do you integrate language and linguistics research?
Integration of language and linguistics. Okay, this is very simple. Language is part of linguistics. Okay, so integration has to do with the topic you are interested in or the problem you want to solve. You see, when it comes to research, we do research for a purpose. So if it's a problem you want to solve or something you want to find out, that one will lead you to know how to integrate. But it's not difficult at all. Language is part of linguistics, so they are in the same family.
Okay, then we have another question from Dr. Doris. What can we do to know what are the topics that are on trend and need to be researched in ELT?
Okay, it's all about reading. Read. And then let's open our ears and our eyes. Even when people are chatting, listen to them. If we attend conferences, what people share with us can trigger some interest in us. So we have to be intentional. That's the key. Be intentional about getting information by reading, by listening, by participation, like what we are doing right now. We have shared a lot. And if we want to research, some of the things we just drop, should I use in our spirits? Okay, it will drop and you have some desire to know further. So intellectual curiosity can lead us into getting research areas or topics.
Okay, we have yet another question from Mr. Samofoni. Do we think of publishing the papers as we write it? If yes, then can you educate us on some outlets or journals that we can send a manuscript to? Is it every
Okay,
journal that you can send your manuscript to just because you want to publish your written paper?
okay, interesting. You see, when you finish researching, you don't have to keep the information in your room. It has to come out. You see, the broad topic was writing a research paper, but I realized that people are not motivated to research. That's why I decided to come from this angle. So after being motivated, after gathering your data and your findings, what are you going to do with it? The ultimate thing is that we have to publish. And there are many ways of publishing. One way is what we are doing. When you find something out, you share it. You can share it in a webinar, in a conference, okay? Then you can also write an article. It can also be a book chapter. So with ELT, there are many resources. We can look at TESOL Quarterly. We have ELT Journal, TESOL Quarterly, all right? And if you go to Eric too has a lot of, it has space. It encourages people to research. So Eric is there. It's a research platform that we can check. It is authentic. You know, we don't have to deal with predatory journals. I don't want to go too much into the publishing side because that is not our main focus for today. But I would suggest for now, TESOL Quarterly, ELT Journal, and then when you go on to Eric too, you have that opportunity. All right. Thank you.
Okay. What strategies can we adopt with learners with weak memory?
Some of the things are medical. That's why it's good to know. If you don't know that it is medical, you beat yourself. You will think you have not been a good teacher, or you punish the learner for nothing. If it is medical, the person cannot control it. So I would suggest that you come close to the learner. A chat with the learner will let you know that there is an issue. Okay, if it's medical, then if it's a child, you can involve the parents. If it's an adult, you can give a friendly counsel to the person to seek medical attention. And this is something I did not long ago. Someone approached me. The person is a nurse and in a reputable place, and she herself admitted that she had issues when it comes to learning. So she came, and upon conversing with her, I realized that it's not just about reading. There were medical issues. So I told her to go and see a clinical psychologist. And I gave her some time that after seeing the psychologist, she should come back and let's have a chat and see if we can continue from there. So some of the issues are beyond academics. Okay. All right.
Okay. So Mr. Hinjan wants to know if his research supervisor has delayed his research work for over a year and he's not reading and correcting the chapters he has already submitted to him, but he keeps telling him to be patient. What options are available for him to explore to get his research work supervised?
If it's about supervision, I have a story to tell. I remember when we were sharing our view, someone wrote like something about supervisor, frustrations from a supervisor. I have experienced this, so I can share something with you. If it's not working, get in touch with your department, report the issue to them. You have a chat, and then if they can contact the person, that will be fine. If it doesn't work, it means that you have to work with the department to get a new supervisor. The person cannot delay you forever. So it has to go beyond you and the supervisor. It has to go to your department. Okay.
What is the difference between an article in a journal and a research?
All right. Research is the information you are looking for, the process of getting the information. Now, after getting the information, now the journal is an outlet. So you write your article in the journal for people to know what you have discovered. Okay.
Okay, from JC Gyamfuaa, does it take some qualities for someone to be a researcher, or anyone can be? Because
All
almost
right.
every student is doing research.
Okay. So as we started, or we said at the beginning, we said anybody at all qualifies to be a researcher. Once you are a teacher, you have a lot of information, a lot of things happen in the classroom, things happen around you. So that alone qualifies you to be a researcher. But that's not enough. You have to know more. Things are changing. At first, the methods that were used for research have changed. Okay, things are different. Now we have AI. Tomorrow we don't know what is going to happen. So let's improve upon what we have. It's important to get started knowing that you qualify already, but get to know more. So you can read on your own, you can have some lessons, then you can also learn from programs such as what we are doing. Okay, that's professional development programs related to research. When you go online, you find a lot. Even when you go to a regional page, the British Council page, so many opportunities come up for research, let me say, education. So please, let's open up. Let's not box ourselves in a corner. The information will not easily come to you. So let's go out and look for information and look for skills in developing our research expertise.
Okay, I have read a good deal of research papers on English language teaching and learning, but a significant gap remains. What do you think is the case?
Please, what is the exact gap? We have many gaps, a lot of them, uncountable. So it depends on what you have read and the content. And the gap is where you start your research from. You see, when you are doing research, you don't do exactly what someone has done. When we look at the definition of research from the beginning, discovery or looking for new information. So when you read, you realize that someone has done something similar. So you can do it in another context. You can even change the methodology. So as for gap, it depends on what you are looking at. There are gaps all over. So exactly what material are you reading? So the material will determine the kind of gap that you meet. And that gap can be a starting point for your research.
Okay. How can IT knowledge motivate someone into researching?
How can I?
How can IT knowledge motivate someone into researching?
Okay, first of all, you have to know. So you read, you listen, you discover, and you share. Okay, to motivate someone, you yourself, you have to be motivated. So as I'm talking to you, I'm sharing because I've gone through a lot. I've read, in fact, I decided to read. And I've read even areas that are not in my field. So let's motivate others by first motivating ourselves to know what is happening so that we can know what to share. If you don't have anything to share, you cannot motivate anybody. All right, so it's about you knowing what is going on around you by reading, by listening, by observing. Then you can share.
I think we have one question. Are
Okay.
there any linguistic resources or tools for writing ELT research papers?
A lot of them. I'll just direct you to the starting points. Let's say Google and then the size space that I shared. Okay, we won't take too much. There's a lot, but when you start, you discover others. So you can start with the Google Scholar. Type in the subject matter or the topic you are interested in. When you type, it will reveal many books and articles and resources on the subject. If you want recent ones, the settings are there. So you put in the settings or the filter to indicate which period you want. If you want recent ones, you indicate it. And you will be shocked the amount of articles and materials that you get. And when you start reading, the interest will grow. So let's go online, start from somewhere. Let's use Google Scholar and then the size space. From there, we can move on to other ones.
Okay. There are many people who have little to no knowledge in ICT. How can such
Okay.
people conduct research?
Oh, ICT. Okay. All right. When it comes to research, you can start on your phone. We don't need too much. Your phone is enough. So your phone has what I'm talking about. Google Scholar is there. When you type, even the general Google and then the size space, when you type what you are interested in, many things will pop up. So the phone, once we can make calls and receive calls with our phone, I believe that we can also learn how to search for information. So if someone has no knowledge of ICT, I believe the person will be able to use the phone. So you can start from using the phone. And then from there, you help the person develop ICT skills and knowledge. Please, is it okay? Has it been answered?
I think that's the last question.
Okay.
Okay.
All
There it
right.
is. Maybe we can take one or two.
Okay.
All right, while you're waiting for the next question, please click on the link in the chat box and fill out the form for your certificate. Thank you. Okay, there is a concern in the chat box.
Okay.
Some
All
of
right.
research have been conducted to improve students' learning, but the students remain where they were. Let me add this. What could be the reason?
Please, can we take it again?
A number of research have been conducted to improve students' learning, but students remain where they were. So what could be the possible reason?
Okay, so it depends on the findings of the research. Those who conducted the research, what did they find out and what did they do about the findings? If you conduct research and you don't act on it, it's just like you didn't even conduct it at all. So we have to make use of the findings. If you realize that the issues are about the memory or the mind, then you take it to the appropriate quarters. So please, let's make use of what we find in our research. That's very important.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Star. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so there's a contribution from Mr.
Okay.
Gideon Star. I guess the focus is on the data analysis, which appears to require some level of proficiency in data
Oh,
analysis and related
okay.
tools. Yes.
Okay. All right. When it comes to research, people have different expertise. Okay. When it comes to the analysis, sometimes if it's quantitative, you may not be a quantitative expert. There are people who can help. That's why we call for collaboration and mentorship. So if there is an area where we are not strong, then we get people who are strong to come in and help. So when it comes to data analysis, we may not know all, but we can get people who are experts in that area to help us. Okay.
I think we've exhausted. So let me see.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's all for now.
All right.
So, Mrs. Star, your closing remarks before we stop sharing.
Once again, thank you all very much. You've been wonderful. I'm really happy about the contributions. Thank you.
All right. You,
Have you seen
Mrs. Star.
someone's contribution?
Yes.
He's into data analysis, so
And
and
I
that's good.
graduate, just can bring their
Uh-huh.
data.
So you can take the person's contact.
Oh, yes, he's on our platform.
That's great.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Star, for
Welcome.
that insightful contribution. It's been a great presentation and walking through the Q&A session. All right, please allow me to share my screen and then
Okay.
next 2 minutes will be out of here. All right, thank you all for coming. It's been a wonderful time with Mrs. Star on the topic writing a research paper. And thank you, Mrs. Star, for that insightful presentation. Okay, so we would like to present the certificate of recognition to Ms. Esther Gyamfuaa Bosompem in
Thank you.
recognition of her invaluable efforts as the resource speaker of the webinar entitled Writing a Research Paper, awarded this 27th day of April 2025 via Zoom. And it's duly signed by Dr. Neil Arvalo Alcantara, the president of IELTA, and Ms. Doreen Della Agbeto, the country ambassador, IELTA Ghana, and yours truly, Ebenezer. Thank you so much, Mr. Star. It's been a wonderful time with having you.
You're welcome. Thank you too. I'm grateful.